everybody. I am so excited that you're here. I've been wanting to do this for such a long time, and I finally decided I was going to do it. My name is Ursula Bielski. For those of you who don't know me, I am no chef, so let's just put that on the table right away and get that out of the way. I am from Chicago. I'm an author. I'm a paranormal researcher. I have written 13 books about haunted Chicago. So I'm not a chef, I have no training, but I love to cook. And I know when I post recipes of mine, things I've cooked on social media, they're the most liked posts that I ever do. So I thought I would start sharing my cooking with you. And so for the first episode today, I wanted to share with you one of my very, very favorite dishes to cook, which I only cook once a year, and that is Creole Gumbo for Mardi Gras, which is tomorrow. Now, you guys, I love Mardi Gras. I don't know about you guys. You know, when I started going to New Orleans, which was now, oh my gosh, so long ago. First time I went to New Orleans, I was 17. And one of my best friends, I had two best friends, they're twins. And one of the twins got into Loyola in New Orleans. And so the three of us, she and her sister and I went down to New Orleans on Amtrak by ourselves. It was so exciting. I can't believe my mom let me do that still to this day. And it was like so incredible, you guys. If you haven't been there, you have to go. There is no place on earth like New Orleans. There's so much culture there. And it's really, you know, like not a lot of cities are an actual melting pot, you know, where the culture is actually a blend of all these other cultures. You know, a lot of cities have different neighborhoods that are, you know, like Little Italy and Chinatown and everything. But in New Orleans, I mean, the culture is this blend of German, Italian, Irish, French, Spanish, Caribbean, African American, and you see that especially. You see it in the music, you see it in the architecture, you see it in the literature, but you see it mostly in the food, and it's so good. And I'll never forget the first time I went down to New Orleans, and I remember the first time I had gumbo in the Gumbo shop in the French Quarter, a very famous restaurant. Closed right now, I think, like everything else, but it'll come back. It'll come back. You know, gumbo is one of those things where there's no real recipe for it. You know, there's kind of the basics, but everybody's kind of got their own version of it. So I'm going to share with you the kind of the gumbo that I learned from one of the great New Orleans chefs, Emeril Lagasse, and I've got a few tips of his that I'm going to share with you. So we're going to start out with preparing our chicken, because we're going to make chicken, shrimp, and okra gumbo today. So we're going to start out preparing the chicken and the chicken stock. We're going to use the chicken stock in the gumbo, and then we're going to also use just the meat from the chicken. Now I am starting out with, this is the classic that, you know, if like the authentic to use. These are chicken thighs. This is about 6 pounds of chicken thighs. These were 99 cents a pound, so this is less than $6. And I think I've got 10 of them here. And people always ask, can I use boneless, skinless chicken breast? Yeah, you can, but you know, it's not going to be that great, because the deliciousness is in the fat and in the dark meat. So I really recommend that you just, you know, it's Mardi Gras. You can fast for the rest of Lent starting the next day. So I really highly recommend that you use the chicken thighs, or use at least something that's bone-in, at least. Even if you use bone-in breast, that's great. So we are going to just add these chicken thighs to our pot over here. And what we're going to do with this is make a chicken stock that we're also going to use for the gumbo. Now, you know, you guys, you can do this so much more easily than this. I have made this before with just rotisserie chicken. Get one of the fully cooked rotisserie chickens from the supermarket and just take all the meat off. You don't have the skin, you don't have the bones, just take the meat off. You can use that, that's fine. You want about 2 pounds of it, which is about 1 of the chickens. And you can also just use, we're going to add some of this later, just chicken stock. So, you know, you don't have to do this, but this just makes it so much more authentic and so much more delicious. So to this, we're just going to add, I cut up just some ends of some celery that I had, and 1 onion. And also, the carrots, the real carrots that I had were kind of going over. So I just had some baby carrots. I'm going to throw them in here. It's the same thing. So we're just going to cook this all together. I'm going to cover this up with water, and we are going to cook this covered until, you know, just till the meat is really fork tender and kind of starts to fall off the bone. And then we are going to come and take out all of that beautiful meat, let it cool, and then take the meat off the bones, get rid of the skin and the bones, and we're going to have our stock ready to go. We're going to get rid of all these, you know, the vegetables that are left over and just keep the stock. And then in a few minutes, I'm going to come back and see you here, and we're going to start making our roux for our New Orleans Creole gumbo. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, so we have cooked our chicken thighs. So as you can see, like, these are, you know, the skin's coming off. These are all ready to be done. So after we get our gumbo going, I'm going to come in after these are cool and take all of the meat off the bones so that we can put it into our gumbo. So we made that. We also made, we also strained out all of the celery and the onions and the carrots that we used to make our chicken stock with those chicken thighs. So we've got this homemade chicken stock that we're going to use to make the gumbo. So I'm going to put that aside. But right now, I'm going to talk to you about the most important thing about the gumbo, and that is the roux. Now the roux is just a mixture of flour and some kind of fat. You can use butter, you can use vegetable oil, olive oil, Crisco shortening, whatever. To make this authentic, and the best way to do this is to use vegetable oil. Butter has such a good flavor, and it would be great to use butter, and a lot of people do, but butter burns very easily, and you have to cook this roux for a very long time in order for it to be really tasty. So I really highly recommend, as most people do, that you use the olive oil. So we're going to use about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. And then we're just going to add to this. So let me put this, if you want to come around this way, Dave. My husband Dave is filming me here.
That's not olive oil.
I'm sorry, not olive oil. You're right. That all we use is olive oil. So this is vegetable oil. So we are using about 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. And then, and because the butter tastes really good, I usually put a little bit of butter in later after the roux is cooked so that it doesn't burn. So then we're just going to use about a cup of flour, and get our stove turned on here. And then we are going to cook this for a really long time. And I want you guys to keep this super low. Now there is one other really important ingredient that you need to make the roux for the gumbo, and that is 2 cocktails. You can use beer, cocktails, wine. I've got these White Claws here, but any authentic gumbo maker will tell you that you have got to drink 2 cocktails while you are making the gumbo, or the roux for the gumbo, because this roux has got to get to a color that is very, very dark brown. It's going to have to look like milk chocolate, and that color is going to come from the cooking of the flour. Now if you're scared and you're afraid you're going to burn this, because if you burn it, you got to throw it away and start it over. If you're afraid you're going to burn it, you can get it to a more medium color, and we're going to talk about that. But ideally, you're going to hang in there, because I know you're tough, I know you're not scared, and you're going to cook this to a color that's like milk chocolate. So get out your beer, get out your wine, pour your cocktail. I'll open up mine. Laissez, bon temps, roulez, mon cher. That means let the good times roll in New Orleans. And cook this on super, super low heat. And when I tell you, do not leave here, I mean, do not leave here. Do not stop stirring. Do not stop moving this. I don't care if the phone rings. I don't care if your doorbell rings. I don't care if someone's fell down the stairs. I don't care if someone's dying. Do not leave this and do not stop stirring it. Drink your beer, stir the roux, keep it on low, and it's going to take 2 beers, 2 drinks, 2 wines, 2 whatever until your roux is done. So now I'm going to meet you back here in just not a few minutes, but quite a few minutes to get on with our gumbo after our roux is to that very, very dark chocolate color. Don't leave the roux. Don't answer the door. Don't answer the phone. Stir the roux. I'll see you back in 2 minutes. And we're back. So look at this. This is our roux. Now I've been cooking this for over an hour. And so we've got this chocolatey color. You could cook this even longer if you wanted to. As some of you know, I have to give a lecture online in about an hour and a half, so I want to make sure our gumbo is done by then. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so this is what we're going to do now. We're going to add let me put this out of the way. Now we're going to add everything else to build our gumbo. Most important thing next to the roux, the Holy Trinity. Now, if you cook, you know that when you cook, you have that basis for everything that you make. All those dishes, you know, that pretty much every culture in the world uses. Celery, carrots, and onions, right? The mirepoix. Well, down in the South in the United States, carrots don't grow very well. So instead of carrots, in the South, in the cooking, they often use bell peppers. So we are using 1 onion. You can use yellow onion, white onion, whatever. About 3 ribs of celery, and then 1 green bell pepper. And you want to just cut these up really small. So that we're going to use that. We're also going to be using 1 large can. I think this is like 24, 28 ounces of diced tomatoes. And then we're going to use a lot of spices in this. And then I'm going to tell you about all of these. So let's add to the pot here. I'm going to get this fired up again. I turned it off so it wouldn't burn. So we're going to add into this our celery, carrot, celery, onions, and bell pepper. And then we're just going to, I hate wooden spoons, but I like to use spatulas and everything, but I can't use that for gumbo because I did it the first time. I used a spatula the first time I made gumbo and it actually melted because I had to cook the roux for so long. So check that out. Look at how gorgeous this is. So this is getting all incorporated with our roux. And keep this low because, again, you don't want that roux to burn. These vegetables are cold because they've been sitting out, but we just don't. We want to make sure those don't burn. Now, garlic is really important. I mean, we all love garlic. I learned this from Emerald too, right? Bam. But I'm going to use about a tablespoon of garlic. You can use more or less depending on what you like. just keep in mind something that's really important for this is Creole seasoning. And Creole seasoning is, this is Tony Chakiris. I'm not sure how you pronounce that after all these years of using it. But this is mostly garlic and ground red pepper. So there's already a bunch of garlic in this Creole seasoning. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of this in here. You can do more or less depending on what you like. You always have to keep in mind the heat with Cajun or Creole food. This is all depending on what you like, and you can do whatever you like. For gumbo, you've got to use some thyme. Thyme is absolutely essential, and there is no thyme in the Creole seasoning. So just put a nice good sprinkle of that. This is another great tip that I learned from Emerald Gassi, is Worcestershire sauce, which gives it a beautiful color and some really nice depth of flavor. So definitely use the Worcestershire sauce. We are also going to use a little bit of any kind of hot sauce that you like. You know, there's so many hot sauces out there, but you know, some people like really hot stuff, as I do. But you know, just because it's hot doesn't mean it tastes good. I like Louisiana hot sauce or Tabasco sauce. Those are my two favorites, and I always use these whenever I cook. I don't have ads or anything. Nobody's, you know, obviously I just started this, but I'm just saying what I like. So I'm going to give this a good stir. That wonderful roux being incorporated with everything that we've already done. And now we are going to add our diced tomatoes, and this is one of those big cans, like 24 or 28 ounce cans, with the juice. Don't drain them. And then we're going to add our homemade chicken stock. And remember, if you didn't do this, if you just got the rotisserie chicken or you cook some chicken breast or whatever, it's fine. You can just use some extra canned or boxed chicken stock, but we made this. So we're gonna add this. Whoa, it looks like we have plenty. If we didn't have enough, I would add the box, and we might need this later if it cooks down so much that we need to add more. So I'm just gonna get this all cooked up together. And when that roux gets in here, see how thin it is right now? When that roux comes to a boil, it is going to thicken this into this wonderful, thick, fantastic gumbo sauce. And then this is gonna cook for a really long time. So what I'm gonna do is put the lid on this and just get ready for my lecture. And then in a few hours, we're gonna come back and we're gonna add our chicken and our shrimp and have some absolutely wonderful New Orleans Creole gumbo getting ready for Mardi Gras tomorrow. So come back here in just a few minutes and see me to finish this off. Look at this gumbo, you guys. Look at how thick it's getting from the roux. Look at all our vegetables in there and all of the seasonings. Now here's the next thing we're gonna do. Come over here, I wanna show you what we're gonna add. So this is our 10 chicken thighs. I've taken all the meat off the bone, so we're gonna put that in. And then the other thing we're going to add to this is okra. And if you are privy to fresh okra and you want to cook that and add that to this, that's fine. But I'm not. So I just got the frozen okra that's cut. And this is just frozen okra. Now okra is weird because it's slimy. And that's a problem if you are going to serve it like as a side dish, like just like steamed, or if you're gonna deep fry it or something like that. I love okra. But the sliminess of the okra is actually going to help us because it's going to help thicken our okra, our gumbo. So we're just going to put this in as it is. This is actually still sort of frozen. I took it out about 2 hours ago. It's still kind of frozen. So we're just going to put this in as it is. The other thing I want to tell you about is andouille sausage. You can absolutely, and most gumbos have andouille sausage in them. You would start with this and put it in with your vegetables after the roux is done. I only make gumbo for Mardi Gras, and on Mardi Gras I also make red beans and rice, which is a classic Mardi Gras New Orleans dish. And that has big pieces of smoked sausage in it. So I don't like to put a lot of sausage in my gumbo because it's the same flavor. But I did chop up 2 andouille sausages into very small pieces. I ate a little bit of it. So it's not, this is not the 2 sausages. But I'm going to put this in with the chicken and the okra. And then I'm just going to put this on the back burner, and I'm going to go and get ready for my online lecture. And then in probably about 3 hours, I'm going to come back and plate this up for you guys and show you just what it looks like after we add the shrimp and serve it with some rice. So I'll see you back in a few hours. Look at this, you guys. See you back here in a bit. Laissez, bon temps, roulez. Alright, you guys, are you ready to try this Creole gumbo from Mardi Gras? I know I am. Come in here and check this out. Look at this crazy delicious thing. Now this has been cooking for about 3 hours. You can see that chicken, the peppers, the onions, the andouille sausage, the bell pepper, the tomatoes, all those fantastic spices. You are going to go crazy, as are all of your friends on Mardi Gras. Now the way that you serve this is so easy. This is just a little white rice in the middle, and then this beautiful gumbo. We're gonna put this all around the edge. And it's okay if you're messy. Mardi Gras is not neat. We all know that, right? So we're gonna put this all around the edges, and then I'm gonna show you something else wonderful that you need for this. Now, let me tell you something before we do the last step. Today is not Mardi Gras, tomorrow is. So I'm not gonna put the shrimp in now because that's not good. You wanna put the shrimp in at the very last minute before you serve it. So I don't get shrimp in my gumbo today, but tomorrow I will. So any, cooked shrimp, not cooked shrimp, frozen shrimp, whatever, you can use. Of course, fresh shrimp is the best, but whatever works. So that goes in tomorrow, but we are not going to suffer today not having any shrimp in here, because look at this, you guys. The last step is the gumbo fillet, and this is just ground sassafras leaves, and any authentic person will tell you you have got to have some gumbo filet on your gumbo. And last but not least, let us take a taste of this deliciousness. Oh, look at you guys. Look at all of that. All I have to say is, one more time, Laissez, bon temps, roulez. Let the good times roll, and happy Mardi Gras. Oh, you guys come back and haunt my kitchen anytime. I love being with you. Happy Mardi Gras. See you later.